So again, thank you. Hopefully a new video not 2 months from now. All right, bye. Well, this is awkward. From the time I'm posting this, it has been exactly July, August, September, October, November, December, January. 7 months since my last video. And I said I would not do that, but here we are. Obviously, I'm in a new office, and in that new office, we bought a house. So since that last video, I have got engaged, bought a new house, got a new job, started this new office that's kind of still in the works. I mean, it looks pretty good. Got some other stuff I want to do with it, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, I just wanted to give an update, especially for the 22,000 views that I can't even, that's crazy in itself. But yeah, so that half year with the Fuji GFX-50R has 22,000 views, and I've answered a lot of questions, and I'm really surprised that the video had as much traction as it did. So I guess I'm up for a new update at this point. Well, if you're still wondering, still have it. This is the Fuji GFX-50R. It has been my main shooter for the last, almost, say 9 months. No, way longer than that. It's been almost a year. Yeah, way longer than that. My initial video was November of 2020. So I've been shooting this for over a year and 2 months or something like that. And I still have a lot to say about it. So currently my main job right now is a studio photographer still. I'm a senior photographer at an apparel company here in Austin, Texas. And I have been in this job for the last 3 months, and pretty much what we do is lifestyle laydown shoots like that, and it's been awesome. The worst part of it is that I don't shoot my Fujifilm while I'm at work. I have a 5D Mark III, yep, over 10-year-old camera that is supplied to me, and I have to use that to match everybody else that currently shoots on that team. So my main job, I don't even use a medium format camera. I use a DSLR that has been around for the last 10 years. So I'm even going further back in time with that camera. But that being said, I still use this almost daily, which is crazy. This camera has pretty much changed from my contractor style work to my everyday camera. As you guys may know, and from behind me, I shoot a lot of film cameras, and this camera is the closest thing that I have to that. So whenever I'm going on a big trip or I'm walking around, I will literally take this medium format behemoth with me, and I have absolutely no regrets. At the time that I'm recording this video, and I'm gonna keep doing that because it's constantly changing, but the GFX-50R is no longer $4,500. It is $2,900 brand new. And for a medium format camera, $2,900 or $3,000 is absolutely crazy. There is no doubt in my mind that this camera is not one of the best cameras that I've ever used. Now, if you go to my half year with the GFX video, there are some bad things that are in that video that I've had issues with, and there's still issues. Like the autofocus is still terrible. The shutter actuation is really still bad. But that being said, there is nothing like a medium format look in a camera body, whether it's digital or film. Like, There is just something magical that happens when you take this sensor or a 6x7 or 645 or whatever kind of negative you're shooting that just looks different from everything else. Like, I can't explain it. I shoot a 35mm sensor on a DSLR every single day, and this thing blows it out of the water. So I guess the reason that I'm really making this video is a lot of the people are commenting on these older videos and asking me like, hey, the price has dropped down to $29.99. Like, is this camera still worth it? And outstandingly, yes. Like, if you could get past the autofocus being a little bit slower, you take your time with your photos, you manual focus if you're using vintage lenses, this camera is leaps and bounds ahead of anything else that I've ever used. I've had so much fun with the Fuji colors and just posting photos, like especially to Instagram or printing or whatever, like straight out of camera. I don't even touch these photos anymore because it's literally that good straight out of the camera. Now, am I going to keep this camera for the rest of my life? No. Like, I'm actually looking at selling this camera for a GFX-50S2 or a GFX-100S, but I am doing that solely because my job right now, once I get to the point where I can kind of use my own gear, or because they don't want to do it because of liability issues. That's the only reason I don't shoot this camera every day. But once I get to the point where I need a little bit more autofocus with the contract detecting with the 100S, or the improved phase detection with the 50S2, because they are a little bit different, I'm gonna absolutely be using that as much as I can. It's kind of crazy that I'm using this as an everyday shooter. Like, not many people can say that they have a medium format digital camera and using it as their main shooter daily. Like, that's unheard of. Like, think about all the digital medium format cameras there are. There's Hasselblad, there's Phase 1s, there are I can't even think of any other medium format digital cameras. You are not going to be walking around with a Hasselblad or a Phase 1, maybe the smaller Hasselblads, but those are a stupid amount of money. For $3,000, you are walking around with a sensor that most people will never even shoot in their lives. And the amount of information that you have in these sensors are insane. Like, the fact that you can crop photos exactly the way you are and still have multiple edits out of that just gives you so much flexibility that why wouldn't you do something like that? Like, if you're shooting Canon R6 or R5, Sony A7 R4, Sony A9 II, or an A1, or any of these high-end cameras, they cost exactly the same as what this camera costs right now. And granted, you're gonna have a lot more features. I'd say, autofocus on those cameras are insane. And if you're shooting sports, like I always say in every single one of my videos, if you're shooting sports, this camera is not for you. What camera is for you if you shoot sports is the 100S, because I know somebody that shoots like NFL football games, college basketball, all that with a medium format and tracks them with eye autofocus, and it's absolutely insane the crops that you can have a whole stadium and crop down to the actual player and have that flexibility between the two is unmatched. So if you're shooting sports, go for the 100S, like save up your money. It's absolutely the most ridiculous camera I've ever seen in my life. But for, the experienced pro shooter who's looking to step into a medium format, this camera is still, at the price point it is, it still reigns supreme over every single other option, like hands down. And so if it wasn't for the work that I do, I would still choose this camera over any other body any day of the week. It has like just given me insane results that I cannot compare to any other camera that I've ever used. I just want to, you know, give a little bit of update. Like, obviously, like, life has been crazy, getting engaged, buying a house, moving to a new city. I'm still in Austin, but I'm in another part of Austin that I wasn't normally in before, and the pandemic is still, you know, around, and especially in the last 2 weeks has changed everything on even my work in the studio, with my team members going, you know, down and needing, you know, to hire more PAs and stuff like that. But I said that I was going to produce more videos, and here I am 7 months later, I think. It's pretty awkward because I literally put in the beginning of the video that it would be, you know, wouldn't do anything over 2 months, but I'm sure that you guys can cut me some slack with everything. But I cannot believe that this camera is as cheap as it is. $2,500 used on eBay, $29.99 brand new from B&H or Adorama or your local camera store, probably, because they're going to match those prices. But the only gap that you need to fill is the lenses, and they're expensive, but they're worth it. I'm still primarily shooting with the 110 f2. The 80 1.7 is absolutely ridiculous. The 45 2.8 is one of the best lenses that I've used. I've even shot, you know, the zoom. I want to say it's like a 200 or a 100 or 400, one of those zoom ranges, and that, even with the extension to make it, you know, 500 plus whatever, it's still one of, like, these lenses that Fuji makes. And I know I've used Fujinon for, you know, major motion pictures and all this stuff, but Fuji just makes great glass, and the price tag obviously shows in it. But if you're investing into a camera system like this, you can't expect to have cheap options that are going to give you the same quality as a professional camera system. So if you can get over that, save some money, and like make your way into this whole ecosystem of the GFX lineup, I still do not think that anything else beats it in the market. So hopefully that gives a little bit of an update. Sorry, I haven't posted anything else recently. If you want to, you know, ask me more questions in the comments, I always, you know, there's 91 comments on the other videos, and I respond to absolutely every single one of them that I can. So if you have any questions about the camera, if you have any questions about Fuji, just to rattle off, like, I'm still using Capture One. I'm no longer using Fuji Raw Studio because it kind of sucks. I am still recording this on the X-T4. I think it's a great camera, especially for video. I'm having a little bit of an issue with the photos, but I think besides that, it's still a great camera. But yeah, hopefully the next video that I have is a comparison to a 50S2 or a GFX 100S, because I have pulled the trigger and decided to upgrade. But if not, I'm gonna try and, you know, just use this camera more, take some more photos, do what I've been doing for the past, you know, year. I'm getting married in September, so I have some time to spend some money on my own, if you know what I mean, until, you know, the money gets split evenly between the two of us. But yeah, so looking forward to the future, especially with this camera system. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope it's not another 2 months before my next video. Thanks. Bye.